Hey, welcome back to the High Kicks podcast. Carl, are you just gonna make finger guns your weekly thing? Like, why?
Uh, yeah, just cause. I
Okay.
should add sound effects, but I don't want to interrupt you. It's a little rude, so just being considerate.
We've been friends for 2 years, and now you're choosing to be considerate.
All right, shut up and let's start talking about games then. Man City versus West Ham.
That's the Carl I remember. Okay, cool. Um,
Yep.
so there's a couple things with this game. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the effort by West Ham, and let's talk about the goat of the transfer window, Jesse Lingard.
I still can't believe you said Lingessi last week.
Oh yeah,
That was
Lingesi, Lingardo,
that was just so I'm kind of statty. I'm kind of like that. So I'm looking at my stats over here. Typical kind of City game, except 10 shots by City, 3 on target, 9 shots by West Ham, 3 on target.
Yeah.
The only, yeah, 2 of the on target shots just went in for City.
Yeah, but I feel like the thing with City is despite what was happening, like with that statistic, like they weren't able to sort of get a hold of the game like they did against a lot of other teams, like they were able to against like Wolves, like they were able to against most of the teams in the Premier League. But West Ham really put up like a valiant effort and
They
really
put up a
like
real,
fighting
real effort.
back. And it was literally until like the 70th minute where the tide swapped over from
I
a
mean,
complete West Ham running of the second half. So it was very interesting the way that the dynamic shifted once Stone scored.
speaking of Stones and scoring, so kind of crazy little stat right here. John Stones and Ruben Diaz in 12 games together, is it, in the Premier League or something like that?
Yeah.
Have conceded 3 goals and scored 5. They're center backs, Carl.
And also fun fact, I think John Stones looks better than Laporte right now.
Yeah, John Stones looks better than a lot of center backs right now.
But like Laporte is literally when you're talking about left-footed center backs, it's pretty much Laporte. Like he is the ideal left-footed center back,
Yep.
and then you have John Stones just filling in his position with no problems,
Yeah,
and you barely concede goals, and you still
sometimes,
have Ederson.
hear me out. Sometimes, and it's really only sometimes, the partner makes the player. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
honestly truly
I'm not
believe that.
saying it's Ruben Diaz is the reason for John Stones'
I think you have to
play, but
acclaim
I
John
think
Stone's success to Ruben
I
Diaz.
don't think it's to Ruben Diaz. I think it's to Ruben Diaz's style of play. It's their styles of play work very well together. It allows them to communicate very well together. What I mean is if you swapped Ruben Diaz
Yeah.
out for a center back that played the same way,
Hmm.
Stones could perform in a similar fashion. It might not be as good because I don't know about their personal relationship and all that,
Yeah.
but you see what I mean?
Yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
impressed though the way that that back can really just hold against any team. You can throw in any left back, throw in any right back. You can swap out Cancelo at left back, right back. You can have Zinchenko at left back. You can
So
have
I want to I want to
Walker at
I
right
want to talk
back.
about João Cancelo real quick. He's out of his mind.
He's nuts.
He's playing
And they also
so
have
well.
Mendy.
Yeah, but the thing is
But
with
like,
Cancelo, he's world class on the right and the left.
yeah, exactly. That's the main thing. And they primarily need it on the left side because you have Kyle Walker. Despite Kyle Walker not being like the most technically skilled player, he's still fast tackle. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's all he needs to do. Like, and I
Mm-hmm.
know I just like didn't say anything but fast and tackle, but that's what he does, fast tackle.
I mean,
And
he's he's a lot better than he used to be at playing the ball and connection play
yeah,
and build up play, and he's a lot better at playing the ball in and overall creating. Like he's gone in the proper direction of the modern fullback, but
but
at his core, he's still I'm faster than you and I'm a better tackler.
yeah, that was like the main thing about
He's an
Jordi Alba.
incredibly good defender.
Yeah, Jordi Alba does very similar, but he just has a little more finesse on the ball.
Yeah.
Um,
And I to clarify, I say defender in the sense of I mean he's a great right back, but I mean just at defending the ball and defending and getting the ball off
he's
people.
great at
He's
that.
great at that.
Yeah, he can
Yeah.
play center back sometimes, but also he can play goalie. So we can talk about that.
We don't have to talk about that, so we're not gonna. But speaking of goalies that Carl doesn't like, we're gonna move on to the West Brom
Um,
Brighton game. Um, because that
all
was
right, just touch upon this. I hate you so much. Just touch upon this and let's move on.
okay, but there's actually like a big thing I want to talk about here. So West Brom scores. They're up. Later in the game, around the 28th, 29th minute, there's a foul. And Lewis Dunk hears a whistle, takes a quick free kick, and scores it. But before the ball went in the net, Lee Mason blew the whistle again, negating the kick and meaning they had to retake it. So so Lee Mason rules the goal out. VAR goes back and rules it a goal because he blew the whistle. And then VAR goes back in and rules it out again because he blew the whistle a second time. So, like, what was he thinking? Like, why?
Uh,
Like, Lee Mason, I know you don't listen to this because, like, duh.
why would you?
But, like, what were you thinking? And what I really, really, really want to know, kind of because of this, and we're going to talk about this incident in another game later, but Luke Shaw brought it up, I think. I think it was Luke Shaw. Why don't officials face the media? Why don't referees
Very true.
have to go sit down in a podium and talk about the mistakes they've made?
I don't know if it's always like if they have to like sit on a podium, but they should definitely have to
No, but
like
what I mean is like sit at like a
yeah,
in interview
have
have a
press
press
interviews.
interviews.
Yeah.
Like when Klopp makes a tactical mistake,
He gets
he gets ripped. And
yeah.
when a player doesn't play well, they get questioned.
Yeah.
Liam Mason got
But
to go home and just wonder what happened. He should have to
yeah.
explain himself. And I
I
think
think it's
that
really
goes for every sport.
yeah, I think it's really interesting the way that UFC does it, in which they actually have what you're talking about, like a press interview for the referees afterwards as well. And depending on like their stature within the sport or like the match which it was actually called for, um, will depend on how much scrutiny they actually receive. So I think it should be done in a very similar manner, just because they
Hmm.
should have scrutiny against them when you're obviously miscalling games. And then I feel like it's a lot of personal bias. I feel like that's a lot of refereeing. But
I don't know if there's actual personal bias. Like I genuinely the only thing I can really think of is that so he blew the whistle for the foul. And then the wall got in place and da 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 da. And he blew the whistle again. And usually that means go. But
yeah,
in some cases, it can mean stop. I have to measure out the wall and put the stuff down. So,
yeah,
like,
I need to review the play exactly to remember what happened. But um
yeah, I missed it live. And I was talking to some people about it in the DFO group chat, and like then I went back and watched it, and I mean, like based on the way the whistle happened, I would have said like, unfortunately, it was a good no go call based on how the whistle went, but he shouldn't have blown the whistle, so it should have been a goal, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It
Yeah.
was an unnecessary second whistle, and that was
Yes.
the main problem with it,
Mm-hmm.
and he
Mm-hmm.
should be seeing scrutiny by the media.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, Lee Mason, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, that's my takeaway from that game. Um, Also, I was right on this game because you thought Brighton was going to win, and I said it's really hard to come back from that late loss. Just, because we're going to start keeping track of our predictions.
Whatever. Whatever. Uh, Actually, shout out for another 1-0 win. Everton versus Southampton. Southampton, after everything they've been through the past couple weeks, they still lost again, but they actually outpossessed Everton. So I'm very surprised by that.
You just want to
So
give that a quick shout?
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
surprised by Southampton's play, and Everton good win
yeah,
because keep that fourth place away from Liverpool.
shut up. So I want to go to the most surprising result of the weekend for me.
Yeah, by far.
I was not expecting Arsenal to do this to Leicester,
Yeah, I was
especially
gonna make a
considering that Leicester scored early, and that usually gives you momentum, and then they got smacked.
I was gonna make a joke about Sheffield United versus Liverpool being the most exciting game of the weekend, but whoa, we'll actually go to the most exciting game of the weekend. It was a great goal off the bat by Tielemans within the first like 10-15 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then it was really when after that goal, Arsenal just turned it up, and it was sort of scary from then on out, and
Yep.
they ended up with a 3-1 result. I don't know what else to say. Like
I these
the penalty
performances.
was deserved. David Luiz had a good header.
Yep.
Pepe had a decent tap in.
Mm-hmm.
Like they all had good goals, and they just played a very solid game. But
Their
one player that I
performances
want to
have
see more here, sorry,
yeah.
one person
Or
where I want to see more contributions from is just Odegaard, just because he was a signing, and I want to see
he needs
just
a
how
little bit
he
more time. It's been a
facilitates.
few games, just
Yeah, I
so
agree with that.
yeah. So these performances have been there for Arsenal, but very few and far between. I think they're coming. I don't think they're coming hard. Like I don't think they're coming for the top four next year. I know. I said that. I realized what I said. Laugh at me all you want. Um, but I don't think they're coming for top four next year. I think they could hit Europa League next year again. Are
I think
they?
they could.
And then after
I
that, I could see them. I could see them pushing for top four and just missing. And then after that, it's on.
I literally see them next year pulling the Man U thing from like this season, like from last season to this season, how like they had that massive jump where they were like just touching upon top four, and then I think Arsenal's literally gonna hop into the top four next season.
I
I
could
think
see it.
Probably gonna be like it depends if Liverpool's healthy again, because then Liverpool pushes a spot out of the
Yeah,
top
like
four.
I'm expecting them to be healthy, and I'm expecting them to make some kind of signings. I'll get to it.
Yeah,
What I want to talk about with Liverpool when we get to the game, but
yeah, but that's a massive component to like try to recognize that.
yeah.
But Leicester's going to be a top four contender. Arsenal is, Spurs is. So I,
Mm-hmm.
I, if it's a similar table to the way that it looks this year, then I'll give Arsenal like a top four spot. But otherwise, they're like fifth.
Yeah, I'm expecting a healthy Liverpool, so I'm giving. That's why I'm saying push top four, not make it.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if Spurs are going to be healthy next year. We'll see if
Yep.
Harry Kane's able to stay healthy, if Son like is able to. if Bale is able to.
Well,
Like
Bale's
Son
only
doesn't
on
really have.
loan. Like Bale might not be there next year.
Oh, I thought they bought him out.
No, it's a season-long loan.
We'll see then.
So, but speaking of Bale,
Yeah.
4-0,
Uh,
Spurs over Burnley.
Real Bale.
Real Bale
Real
showed
Bale
up.
showed up.
2 goals, assist. Was it Real Bale or was it Spurs round 1 Bale?
Nah, it was Real Bale
It
because
was
it's
Real
from the
Bale.
winger, not the left back.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but he just played an unreal game. He had an amazing assist. He had 2 great goals. I don't know what more you would ask for from that performance. He had a great game.
Yeah, he had a great game. He's had a great stretch of games actually. Bale's like in pretty fine form,
Yeah,
which
which I'm a massive fan of him. So I love to see this no matter what. Despite him playing for Tottenham, screw Tottenham,
yep,
but love Bale.
yep. And so Son assisted both of Bale's goals,
Yeah.
and then Bale assisted Kane's goal.
Yeah.
Like Harry Kane is joint top in assists with KDB
Oh.
and third in goals.
Yeah, he's a little how do I say this? Disgusting. But
Yeah.
Don't look down on Bruno just because he didn't have any assists or goals last game because of the 0-0 draw,
He
which we'll
hasn't
touch
had
upon in a minute.
what is it? What does he
But
have? What does he have? 1 goal contribution against the big 6 in 7 games.
probably.
Yeah,
Bro, think about the rest of our team when we're playing the big 6 teams. Like the rest of our team aren't
you
playing
are a
well. Like
better
Bruno,
roster than Chelsea. You're a
I don't
better
know about
squad
that.
than Chelsea this season
I don't know about that.
in every facet of everything. I mean,
I
they
don't know
might have
about
some
that.
better players in some better positions, but you as a squad are playing better than them.
That is true.
You're a better squad than Chelsea this season. Maybe not on
All
paper, but
right.
on the pitch.
They have better players in some positions, and we also didn't have Pogba,
I know.
which is a massive
I know.
blow, especially with his run of form. Because he was playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
So we're gonna jump into that game.
Yeah, might as well.
So like,
I think it's mostly a tell of the way that Chelsea's currently playing, actually, more than a tell of how mediocre Man U is in this draw. I
so
think it's more of a tell of Chelsea really playing such a dominant game in this game, showing that they can beat second place if they actually finish chances. And the
yeah, I
way that
mean,
they overlap
the
their
only thing you outdid Chelsea on in this game was you had 1 more corner.
yeah.
They had more
And
tackles, clearances, passes, touches, shots on target, possession, less offsides, less yellow cards, and less fouls.
yeah, I think something tactically that they did that's really interesting is the way that N'Golo Kante would always be picking off on like the third or fourth pass in every tiki taka situation. He was just always like
Mm-hmm.
looking for the third or fourth pass, and he was always getting it. It was really annoying after a certain point when I was watching the game. It really frustrated me. And then another thing that I noticed is the overlap with like the right wing backs and the left wing back, just like the wing backs in general, overlapping and being like midfielders as well, being like a right mid and a left mid. Like it seems like they're playing a 3-back, but they're actually playing a 5-back, Chelsea. And I just find it really hard to break down. I think they're doing a really good job of defending as well as
Yep.
attacking. So like
So
man, you had
their
like 2
formation,
good chances.
their formation's listed as a 3-4-2-1,
Yeah.
but it's
Uh
kind of like
no, it is. That's exactly what it is. But they
yeah,
alternate like those right mid, left mid roles as defenders as well, because
Yep.
they
Yep.
swapped out Hudson-Odoi for Reece James at one point, and then they were literally just dominating that entire game because it was Chilwell-Odoi.
You mean Chilwell Reece James?
Yeah, Chilwell James.
That's nuts.
And that was just like that's defensively absurd, and they get enough crosses in where it doesn't matter at that point. They
So
showed tactically that they outplayed Man United, and I
so
give them props, but I hate you. So
I want to talk about something involving United,
yeah,
and it's not just this game.
we're
It's
signing Veron. What?
we'll get to that later. It it's it's how they perform in these games against the Big Six.
Yeah,
Manchester United in 7 games versus the Big Six have scored 1 goal and conceded 7.
yeah.
They have
Think
0
about our
wins.
team.
Hold on. They have 0 wins, 2 losses, and 5 draws. Your losses have come to Spurs and to Arsenal.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it was almost Chelsea too. Like I'll give it to them entirely. Like we had like 2 good chances
like,
the entire
you
game.
didn't even lose to City. You drew them 0-0. You get what I'm talking
Well,
about
we're
here?
playing them on Sunday, so we'll see.
I don't think you're going to draw them 0-0 this time.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm holding my breath.
All right, glad we're on the same page.
But
But they
yeah,
just
no, I think it's just because of young talent and lack of actually like we have a lot of injuries on random days. Um, we have random people in, random people out, and also like Matomne isn't fully like solidified in his role yet. We don't have Martial playing in a great run of form. We have Rashford playing good, but he's getting frustrated at
so
points in
so
time.
I'm just going to
So
correct you there.
Bruno's
I'm
the
going to
only
correct you there.
what?
Martial's not in a bad run of form. Martial's having a bad season. It started as a bad run of form, but when it's
Yeah,
August to March,
yeah, that's a fair point. I call him a fat pig a lot.
he's he's
Uh,
he's not a bad player. He's just not having a great year. But it's not a bad
yeah,
run of form. It's an
I
off
think
year
he should be a super sub.
this season.
Like, well, I always thought he should be a super sub. I think that would be such a move for the team, but that's another
That's another.
altogether
It's another
topic.
altogether.
Yeah, all I'm talking about right now is lots of young talent. We need to really develop them, and we play them against these big sides. Like you get to see like Daniel James and other players play, and I think it's just going to take a matter of like next year and actually bringing in like another major center back or something such as that. Because I think De Gea can still pull it off in goal if we
Hold
have
up.
another.
I'm just
Because
gonna
we're
jump
playing
in real
great
quick.
defense, but what
What age do you consider a young talent?
like 24 and younger.
Okay, I would say like 23 and like 22, 23 and younger. I think the
Okay.
official. Yeah, so Dan James is like on the edge of being a young talent.
Yeah, exactly.
He turns
That's my
24 in
main thing.
November.
Yeah.
I just,
So
yeah.
yeah, no,
Hmm.
that's entirely fair.
Yeah.
But
I
there's
thought
a
he was
lot of
older, so I
people.
looked it up.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on that squad who may not develop into what they should, and we need to like see what happens because like they all have potential. Like
Hmm.
and no one on that
You
squad does not have potential.
you have a very, very rich history of promoting academy players like from within,
Yeah,
and it's impressive. I like to
yeah.
see it.
But
Um,
we
just
just
not
need to
from you
see
guys.
who actually works out.
Yeah, we do. We do. Um,
And this is when we move on to Liverpool versus Sheffield.
move. We're done talking about your team. We're done. We're done. I faded that graphic off. We're talking about my team now. Um,
Your team sucks.
no, they don't.
whatever.
Champions League, but we'll um what?
I like how you had to do that regarding Champions League hopes. Um,
um Nah, but so my main thing, and I know you're gonna bring up the center backs, but like I'm more focusing on the fact that 8 shots on target. That's a lot more than usual. Their problem lately has been they haven't been able to capitalize on that like final third pass and all those like final balls to actually get those chances to become like big chances and get them on target. Um Game could have been 5-0. Shout out to Ramsdale.
my
And
name's Brian, and I hype up a win against Sheffield.
no, I'm just saying.
Ramsdale had a great day, so I
So
can't take anything
I'm
away from
not hyping
United.
up I'm not hyping up the win. I'm more focused on
The
how
the
how
good parts
how they
of the
played and
win.
how they
Yeah,
looked because they
yeah,
haven't been playing well against lesser sides lately.
that is fair with their
And
losing and draw
seeing a game that could
record.
have been 5-0 makes me
It's
happy.
refreshing.
Yes.
It's refreshing.
Yes, Carl. Yes, it's refreshing.
Sitting in second place is nice right now.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah,
Sitting in the
that's all I'm gonna
Champions League
say.
is nice.
Yeah, well, getting eliminated from the Champions League is also funny. So we'll see when that happens. Um,
I mean, it happened for you already. How's the Europa League going?
damn. Way to win. All right, let's move on to the next game. City versus Wolves. We touched upon this slightly earlier.
Yeah,
Um,
so first off, the scoreline of 4-1 is not indicative of the way this game was played.
Nah, it all ended in like the 80th minute, but Wolves actually was playing a very solid game. It was 1-1, and then was it
It
Mahrez? Um,
no, it was Jesus in the
it was Jesus, then
yeah.
Mahrez, then Jesus.
Hmm.
But Jesus had a beautiful finish off of a deflection,
So
and
I just want to say your thing about when you say Wolves played a very defensive game. They played the way they needed to play.
they played a great game.
It was 72 to 28 possession. They had one shot on target. They had very few touches in the opposition box. They played City the way you need to play City.
Yeah,
But they lost 4-1 because City decided they were going to.
yeah, exactly.
But
Like, and also Laporte was playing.
City had almost 500 more touches. They had almost 500 more passes.
I'm not
Like
saying that like
City only had I'm just looking at the way City dominated. City only had 2 clearances. Wolves had
and
26.
also you still have to take me in quotes. Wolves played a good game against City.
City had 2 clearances. Wolves had 26.
Yeah.
City had 10 corners. Wolves had 2.
Yeah. I think that says enough about everything.
Actually, there's one big stat I do want to talk about. Not big, more so funny. Connor Cody
Uh yeah.
scored a goal today off of or not today. Yes, was yesterday at time of filming, right? Or recording?
Uh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yesterday at time of recording. So the ball came in. He dove, headed it past Ederson. It was his first goal since Wolves was in the championship in 2018 against Brentford when they had already earned promotion, and he just got a pity penalty. Like somebody got a foul in the box, and Nuno gave him the pen because he wanted him to have a goal. It was his first shot on target in his Premier League career and his first goal. So shout out to Connor Cody for that.
He is a goat. I'm just really happy for him. And hopefully he can do it again, but chances are it won't be anytime soon. So
Yeah, yeah. So before we jump
all
into
right.
predictions, there
Yeah.
there has been over the last couple days in sports media some back and forth between two like icons of their respective sport communities.
Juggernauts, if you would say.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start with bringing in Zlatan's quote, directed at LeBron James, that came from some form of interview question, but basically, so he said that LeBron is phenomenal at what he's doing, but he doesn't like when people who aren't politicians get involved. He says do what you're good at. He says he plays football because he's best at playing football. He doesn't do politics. So
And
and
LeBron responded.
LeBron responds with basically, it's a lot to read in the quote that I put up here, but he's talking about how he stands up for things that are wrong. He'll never shut up about them. He preaches about his people and equality and justice, and his goal is to help people. And he also said in another interview that he's comes from a very educated mind. He knows what he's talking about. And he tries to help people and tries to help things for what's going on in communities around the world. So like, I don't
He
know.
talks from what he knows.
He talks from what he knows, and he also, I think one of the biggest things that he said that I don't know why I didn't grab a quote of to put it on here, but he basically said, "I will never just stick to sports." And these quotes are pulled from an article from the Guardian. But I straight up like I love Zlatan, but I'm on the LeBron side here. Like
Yeah, obviously. In this case,
athletes,
Zlatan just overreached his boundaries and
especially
obvious.
because the American sports sphere is a little bit different than the European and the global sports sphere. Um, like athletes have a lot more political influence and a lot more of a voice, I think, in some instances
Yep,
over here. Um, Also, I found it a little bit hypocritical, considering that
highly.
Zlatan spoke out against Swedish media for not giving him, as he thought, proper coverage because he doesn't have a traditionally Swedish last name. So there's that.
So he calls racism on one thing, and yet he doesn't think LeBron is fighting for anything useful. But
Yeah. And
it's
then
whatever.
he doubled down on his quote.
Yeah,
And he basically was just like, you should stay out of it. He goes, athletes unite people, and we politicians divide them. He's like, we should do our jobs as athletes to, and this is all paraphrased, but do our jobs as athletes to unite and not be divisive. But like, you got to use your voice to help people if you can.
yeah.
That's kind of where I stand, you know.
And that's the main thing LeBron is standing for in this case. He's not like fighting for anything that isn't like out of reach for him. He's fighting for like actually viable things that can benefit communities, just like his school and stuff. He's just being a good role model
Mm-hmm.
for the youth of America and actually the youth of the world. So I
Yep.
really appreciate what he's doing, and Zlatan shoved a foot in his mouth. So stuff happens.
Also, like
People say whack things nowadays.
LeBron said it. He
So
comes from a very educated mind.
it was so well worded, and
It's
it was just
Zlatan's
so.
or not Zlatan. LeBron's not the person I want to say anything about. When he has time to prepare an answer, it's golden, and when he doesn't have time to prepare an answer, it's pretty close to golden almost every time.
LeBron was so delicate with what he said,
He
and
did
it was
mess
just
up, I
so
have
well
to say,
worded.
to to be real. He did mess up with what he said about the whole Houston situation, but we don't need to focus on that. We should more honestly focus on the football.
Yeah.
Um, but
All right,
we're just on the LeBron side on this.
time to get
Use your voice
into
to help people, but time to get
guessing for this week, and we have
wait, hold on,
two
hold on.
less games to guess from.
Are you just calling it guessing, or are you predicting or educated guessing, or is it just straight up
It's just
guessing?
guessing.
All right.
Guessing.
Yeah. So we got two less games to guess because at
Burnley and
at time
Leicester
of
are
recording,
currently playing.
yeah, at time of recording, Burnley and Leicester are currently playing, and so are Sheffield and Villa.
Yep.
Um,
And
and then
the
so the first game we're going to talk about for coming up is Palace United.
yep. So of course I'm gonna take United 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah.
I'll go 2-1 United. I'll go 2-1.
2-1 United.
2-1
Okay.
United.
Next is gonna be Spurs Fulham, which I will be taking 3-1.
I don't know why, but something in me said 1-1 draw.
All right.
I don't think it's right, but it's the first thing that came to my head,
It's
so
something.
I'm gonna gut it. So gut feeling.
All right. Everton,
I'm gonna
West
go.
Brom,
I'm gonna go first on this one. 2-0, Everton.
2-0.
Yeah, I like the way they're playing. Um,
I'll give it a 1-0.
1-0.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh, Chelsea, Liverpool.
You want me to go first?
You have to go first.
I do have to go first. I genuinely think, considering that everything I'm reading says Fabinho and Allison are going to be back, and there's still a chance that Jota can come onto the pitch, I think Liverpool can take this game 2-1.
Wow.
Straight up.
I give it Chelsea 3-1.
I think I don't think Chelsea's putting 3 goals past them.
That is fair, actually. I'll give Chelsea 2-1.
I see it being 2-1 either way, but I truly think it can be Liverpool. I
Sure.
think if Jota comes back for this game at some point, it's just kind of another dynamic that's like, whoa.
Yeah, on offense, that definitely is revolutionary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's look at Arsenal Burnley.
Arsenal Burnley.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you can take this one.
2-0 Arsenal.
I might go 3-0 Arsenal.
3-0 Arsenal.
They're
Okay.
playing well.
Sheffield, Southampton.
No.
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 I'll take a 1-1.
I'm excited for this one.
Villa Wolves.
Villa Wolves.
I'll go first. I'm taking 2-2.
2-2.
2-2.
I'm sorry for the long pause, but like I just really don't know.
Biggest question of the
So
century right
hold
here.
up. Type in my prediction 3-1 Leicester over Brighton.
Bro, what? Okay.
It's the next game. I got that one popped into my head first. And now
I'll take 3-1 as well. But, okay.
I got 2-1 Villa.
2-1 Villa.
My brain works weird. I thought of the next prediction before and then I had to go back.
West Brom, Newcastle.
Poor West Brom. They have to play Thursday and then Sunday. I mean, so does Liverpool.
I'm taking 1-1.
1-1?
Yeah.
I'll take a 1-1 there. I think that's reasonable. And then I'm going to take Liverpool 2, maybe 3-1 over Fulham. 2-1. 3-1. See, my issue is it all depends on how they play against Chelsea. If they win the Chelsea game, they're going to smack Fulham, I think.
I'm taking 2-1 over Fulham. You're taking 3-1?
Yeah.
For the Man
you
City
have to go
game,
first on this one.
I'm 1-1.
What?
Shut up. Go. I'm a realistic person. I'm not gonna.
3
You
or
just
4.
read the stat.
I know, but City's been different since that last game.
Okay, so you want 4
3-1.
nil,
3-1.
3-1,
3-0. 3-0.
3-0. Okay.
3-0.
Spurs Palace.
2-1.
You go
Spurs.
first. 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
I will give this one 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, for Spurs. Chelsea Everton. This is a good one.
This is a good one. Thoughts? You want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I'll take this one. I think after Chelsea beat Liverpool,
Shut up.
Everton beat Chelsea.
I think
2-1.
after Liverpool beat Chelsea, Everton also beat Chelsea 2-1.
See, I think if they lose, they're beating Everton. If they win, they're losing to Everton.
Nah, I think it'll be a double result.
You think it's the opposite?
I think it's win-win or lose-lose.
Fair, fair. All right, and then the last game of the weekend that we're going to discuss before next week's episode is going to be West Ham versus Leeds. The massive game of the century, Lingard versus Bamford. Who's going to win?
Did you just say Lingard versus Bamford? I'm honestly, like, if you really want to talk about a player versus player matchup in this game, you know where I'm going to go with this. Do you?
No.
I was going to go Fabianski and Melier.
Ooh.
Who has a better game?
Melier is going to have a better game.
You could also look at how Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice interact with each other in the midfield.
I think that's the bigger matchup.
I mean, yeah, because they're both midfielders playing in the same space.
You need to say this one because I said the last one.
I think 3-1 West Ham. I think West Ham's legit.
Damn. All right. I have an upset on my hands with a 3-2 win by Leeds.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm expecting a late win by Leeds.
Okay.
So that wraps up our predictions for this week. And I think that wraps up our episode.
Yeah. Oh no, it does not. There's one thing that you want to talk about that we didn't get to that I said you get to talk about later.
Ferran's going to Man U. That wraps up our episode for this week.
Okay,
sorry.
no.
I'll be serious. I'll be serious.
Okay.
So Rafael Varane is apparently going to deny his contract extension at Real Madrid, and Man U is the number one suitor in order to actually reach him. Another thing that was just released in news while we were recording this episode, Holland is going to be. It was before
we started recording. The news is Holland apparently is between like 6 clubs.
And he denied Bayern.
It's no to Bayern and Chelsea. He doesn't want an intermediate step, and he thinks Chelsea's an intermediate step and not a direct top club. Sorry, Paul.
And at Bayern, he doesn't want to be a second.
Exactly.
Fiddle.
But this comes out of Build, which, according to everything I'm reading in all the group chats and all the Instagrams and all the communities I'm in, is kind of like German Sky in terms of it's not always super reliable. So
but we'll see.
We'll see. But I wanted to jump back to Varane because obviously Liverpool will be in the running for that also.
Yeah, the two main suitors that were listed were Manchester United and Liverpool. Both need center backs.
So I think for Liverpool, it's all going to depend on how Ozan Kabak plays.
Yeah, but I don't think you try to buy Varane then. If you're really waiting on the wave for Kabak to play,
well, Kabak's on loan. Kabak's on loan. What I mean is Kabak's on loan. So it depends on if Liverpool decide they want to buy him.
Yeah.
Or send him back to Schalke. Because you're also not, you don't have to buy Varane, you just have to pay his wages and pay a signing bonus because it's a free transfer.
Yeah.
Oh no, his contract's not up.
Free transfer.
His contract's not up this summer.
His contract ends in 2022.
Oh, it's 2022. I misread that earlier. Okay, never mind. So they would have to buy him. So I mean, he would be dumb expensive.
Yeah.
He would be
I don't know
dumb
if he has a
expensive.
release clause or something, but he would be stupid expensive no matter what.
Does he have a release clause? Let us check.
I'd presume not.
No, not that I can
Not one
see.
listed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually gonna wrap it up for this week's episode. Hopefully, Manchester United are able to get Rafael Varane, from Real Madrid
Hopefully
with the
Liverpool can get
replacement
Rafael
Alba
Varane
coming in.
from Real Madrid with a replacement for all of our injuries. Thank you guys for
Yeah.
tuning in this week. Check us out on our Instagram at the High Kicks Podcast, Twitter at High Kicks Pod. We got YouTube, IGTV,
Yeah.
website highkickspodcast.com. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week.
All right.
Adios.
Adios. Much love.